This report brought to you by the Richmond Club, where investors and high-growth companies meet.
MPX International is a cannabis pharma company. It has a presence in 4 continents and operates a dozen stores. We spoke with the company's president and CEO, Scott Boyes, to learn what lies ahead in 2019 for MPXI. Scott, thank you so much for joining us here on the Richmond Report today.
My pleasure, Gleese. Thank you.
Let's take a look initially at MPX International. What can you tell us about your company?
Well, you need to go back a little bit to MPX Bioceutical, which was the company that we created about 2.5 years ago.
Right.
We focused primarily on building U.S. assets. So the same management team that built that company is now running MPX International. So we built a group of assets in the United States. We raised $100 million with some initial investors, and we sold the company for $835 million 2 years later. So we've taken the formulations, the technologies, the retail experience, the extraction experience that we learned from running the US operations, and now we're transposing those and trying to recreate the thing on a global basis.
Okay, and you see a market on a global scale these days as well.
The European market alone is about 1.5 times the size of the North American estimated market.
Right.
It's emerging. It's coming up. It's probably a couple of years behind, but we were an early mover in the U.S. market. We went in 2015 when most of the other companies were focusing still on Canada.
Right.
We'll do the same thing here. Try to create some early mover advantage.
Okay, very good. You know, our audience is investors. These are people who are looking for a great opportunity and stocks to purchase at a very particular time. Tell us, why is now the time to invest in your stock?
Okay, so most of the investors on the last time around made 8 to 10 times their earnings, those that got in early. We're going to do the same thing this time, only we think it'll be even a more significant upside. The international market is just emerging. There are not too many players in. Unlike the land grab that's going on in North America, it's a relatively unsophisticated market, but it's emerging and it's coming on pretty quickly. So we're positioning ourselves to create a global supply chain, focusing on Europe, Oceania, and Southeast Asia. And people will get in early now, and our stock is trading at 45 or 55 cents. We've done very little marketing. This is really the first pitch we've given to investors outside of one in London last week. So we're just now starting to talk to the analysts. It's early on. If you want to get into a high play, this is the time to get in.
You know, another question that investors often ask is, well, who's at the helm of this company? What can you tell us about yourself and your experience?
Okay, well, I've been involved with the cannabis industry now for about 5 years. So in this sector, that gives you tenure. You've been around for quite a while.
Right.
And as I said, we built the U.S. company. We had $100 million in revenue at one point. I think we're the second highest revenue earner of all the publicly listed companies.
Right.
And we did it in about 2 years. So I've got the cannabis background. I was involved in commercial finance for 25 years. I was VP of one of the Canadian banks in the commercial for a while, and I built a company in the U.S. that was in the transportation sector. So I spent most of my career building companies, and quite often, most of it actually focused on portfolios that were international in nature.
Okay. 2019, we still have several months left in the year. What's ahead in this year?
Okay, well, our fiscal year ends on September 30th. So 2019 is our formative year. We really sold off our U.S. assets in February, so we're only 5 or 6 months old.
Okay.
We've already established operations in Switzerland. We're building out laboratories in Malta. We're building out retail stores in central London, in Western Canada. We're a late stage applicant in building out facilities in Australia, and we just announced a joint venture partnership for cultivation with a large wine growing region in South Africa. So
interesting.
we've been busy for the last 4 or 5 months.
And when you say international, you mean international.
Yeah. We're trying to set up a global supply chain so that we can focus on, if you look at the Asian market, Thailand is going medical. Malaysia is talking about going medical. South Korea has gone medical. New Zealand is going full rec next year. Australia has gone medical. So there's a section of the market down there that we're addressing. The European market, of course, is in a rapid state of change, particularly the UK, Germany, Switzerland. Switzerland's even talking about some adult use programs being introduced next year on an experimental basis. So we see it emerging in Europe as well.
Exciting times ahead, it seems like.
Very much, yeah.
Very good. Scott, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
To learn more about this and other high-growth companies, head to our website, www.richmondclub.com, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. For the Richmond Report, I'm Galit Solomon.
If you enjoyed this video, please let us know. You've been watching the Richmond Club Report. If you've just come across this channel, please feel free to like and subscribe. I'm sure you'll find a lot of interesting and lucrative investment and trading ideas around here. We'll see you again soon on the next video. Cheers, guys. Have an amazing and profitable day.